What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another episode of MUT Mailbag. This is our series here on YouTube where I answer all of your community questions regarding Madden 21, Madden 21 Ultimate Team, and I believe this is episode number 4 of the year. Thank you to everybody that submitted questions. Real quick before we get into them, if I don't get to your question, that usually means the episode was a little too long, and don't take it personal. Just ask your questions for the next episode, which we'll probably be doing a week from now. But let's go ahead and get right on into it. Lots of questions submitted, many more than we had for the last episode, so thank you guys so much for doing that. We're going to start out with a gameplay question. Edwin says, I move the ball well, but struggle when I get inside the 10-yard line to score. Any advice, any red zone dots that you can share? I'll be honest, I struggle a little bit there. One thing that you can mix it up, that catch people off guard, is run screenplays. People are not expecting screenplays within the 10-yard line. That's worked well for me. Also, a lot of, I can't really pull up the play art right now, but there's a lot of plays where maybe you have a tight end on a corner route, a wide receiver on a drag, so it kind of separates those two guys. So maybe a drag on the right of your screen going left, corner route tight end going up and to the right, and then a backside in route on the left screen, your left side of the receiver. And normally those types of route combinations work for me. Normally that backside in route is what gets open because the user is kind of paying attention to what's in front of them and not so much what's behind. So maybe that type of route combination will help you out. Do you feel that EA is trying to make games too sweaty? So many times I've had my team dumbed down or weird things happen that forces my game to be close. I don't think they're trying to make games too sweaty. I think they're trying to, for some portions and things, make the game too easy or make it easier for less skilled players. I think that's why we see so many drop picks in the game. There's, I don't think it's DDA, but it's just, you're not in a competitive game mode. It shouldn't be this way, but unfortunately there's a thing called RNG and it causes fluky things like that to happen. And it's pretty clear that they cater the game to lesser skilled players right now, because here's the thing. If you're terrible at the game and every time you boot up and you get your brains beat in, you're less likely to want to play the game, less likely to want to spend money, less likely to buy the game. And so it's kind of like skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty and Fortnite and a lot of the shooter type games. It's not really a skill-based matchmaking, but I think there are things in the game that cater more towards the lesser skilled players, like the play clock running out a little bit faster, dropped interceptions, random fumbles. I don't think the game is predetermined. I don't think when you load into the game, they know who's going to win. It's just, that's not true. It's not correct. But I do think in certain situations, just drop picks are a big portion of it. I also don't think if you're up 14 in the fourth quarter, the game's like, oh my God, we got to make him lose. I don't think it's that sophisticated, but I just do think that there are certain, situations in the game where things don't go your way. It's because of just a random number generator that says, this ain't about to work for you this time. When do you think we'll see cards like Randy Moss, Kelvin Johnson, Troy Polamalu, Julius Peppers? I think they'll all be in the game. As to when, I don't know. As far as Julius Peppers, probably going to be an NFL 50 card or the 50 card. Kelvin Johnson probably as well. Polamalu, Randy Moss feel like maybe most feared. Randy Moss could definitely be a 50 card, but I think at the end of the day, regardless of what promo they're going to be in, they're going to be in the game. I would fully expect that. It's just, when is it going to happen? Do you think we get a promo like MUT Heroes or a new promo for current day players, or is it too late for that? I would love to see MUT Heroes come back. It'd be kind of a shame if they didn't bring it back. Normally that's an early October promo. Obviously we're past that point, and more than likely most feared's coming this week. But I hope MUT Heroes gets a promo. I think they've been doing a good job with content this year. We're all frustrated. Most feared's not out yet. We haven't got any news on it. But at the end of the day, the content has been really, really good this year in MUT Heroes. Such a fan favorite. I mean, here's a curveball. What if they bring back MUT Heroes for Wildcard Wednesday and just do 5 MUT Heroes randomly every, once a month or so? Will the 50 card players keep getting upgrades, or are they maxed out? That's kind of a yes and no answer. I'm sure a lot of the guys who got 50 cards are going to get another card at some point, whether it's an Ultimate Legend or just some other type of upgrade. throughout the year. Some of them might not. They might be one and done with their cards, but speaking as a whole, they're all not going to be maxed out. Some of them will definitely get upgrades again. I'm just not sure who. When do you think EA will unlock the upgrade tabs on the gold NFL team jerseys in stadiums? So I think it's designed to be this way. To be honest, I don't know if they ever will unlock it. My thing is, the way it's set up now, it kind of leaves you hope that maybe something is going to change. And, you know, will it? I don't know. So for those of you that don't know what he's talking about, you can add chemistries to a coach, and in years past, you could add chemistries to your stadium and your uniforms. If you try to do that now this year, unfortunately, it doesn't work. It says like it requires an item, but that item doesn't exist. I don't know if that's a placeholder for future content, maybe with the Team Affinity promos and content. I don't know, but I got a feeling that you know, it's meant to be that way, and we may never be able to upgrade those, because overall they nerfed down team chemistries compared to years past. That's why Madden's not as good, and you just don't, you know, you see the scheme chems go all the way up to 50 now. I think they might put more importance on those and less on the team chems, because you could just get really good players very early in the game, though it seems like we got a lot of really good players early this year as well. I see a lot of talk about DC glitchers still getting to play in clubs. Do you think EA will step in and take action against these players? I honestly think the competitive division of Madden is run extremely poorly. I don't know Matt Marcoux, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but year in and year out since he's been in charge, competitive players just always seem to be unhappy. There's always things that just seem so blatantly obvious to be corrected, and they're not. And I'm strictly speaking of the competitive kind of side of Madden. People, known DC glitchers still getting into club tournaments is horrific. It's awful. It's terrible. And I don't know, like, I just don't know how those things can be allowed. I'm dumb. I'm just befuddled. I don't know. There's, you know, I think GG Franchise or Franchise GG is one of the guys. Several videos of him DC glitching people, and yet he's still in the club's brackets. It's just, I mean, it's bad, man. It's bad. I can't. It's awful. Will Barry Sanders be a 50 card? Maybe. I don't know. He'll definitely get another card. If anything, you got to think about what is his card's in 94. In order for Barry Sanders to get a 50 card, we'd have to get to probably 96 overalls when it comes to 50 cards. And right now we're at, what, 92s without the power up. So I'm going to probably say no, but he'll definitely get another card. It just might not be a 50 card. It's going to be something later on in the year. Should we sell off our 50 players this weekend before Most Feared begins? Maybe, but I don't ever recommend it. I am very anti and against selling your team before a big promo, because two things. You never know if that promo is actually going to be good. I've seen it in years past where there was big hype surrounding a promo, and then when it came out, there were a lot of undesired cards, or the promo wasn't as good as we all anticipated, and all those really good cards that were on your team that you sold stayed the same price, so you lost out on the tax, or they actually went up in price and you lost out on tax and extra coins. So I will never recommend that. The only thing I will ever say selling before a big promo, if there's certain positions, like you want to upgrade your slot receiver, you want another corner, sell those cards off and prepare for, the new players in that situation, but based on position only. So never sell your whole team before a promo. Of course, it might work out for you once in a while, but at the end of the day, if that's a practice that you use every promo, eventually you're going to get burned, and I would hate to see that happen. What do you think the best budget DBs are in the game? I can't stop anyone with Metcalf and Claypool. Snead from the Chiefs, and your definition of a budget versus mine could be a little bit different, but Sean Murphy Bunting, the 89 overall Rising Star card, is really good. Look for guys with speed, especially against Claypool and Metcalf. L'Jarius Sneed, the card for the Chiefs team standout. Those are probably the two that immediately come to mind. Jonathan Joseph is kind of an underrated card, really good at zone, man coverage, and solid speed. But it really depends on what your idea of a budget card is and kind of your coin range for being within budget. Do you think it would be cool to add a promo like healers with all these devastating injuries this year? It would give these players cards they can't get a team of the week. I mean, that would be cool. I don't think they would ever make a promo called that, but something dedicated towards guys who are out for the season would be pretty cool. I'm sure they'll find ways to get them cards. Team of the Week isn't the only promo, that we have. So Saquon Barkley, all these guys that are out for the year, Dak, they'll get another card. They'll find a way to get them another card, probably before the Super Bowl. Sold my team for about 4.8 mil and want to build my team. Should I wait for Most Feared, or is the 18th a good time to start? So JD here did exactly what I don't recommend, but to answer your specific question, yes, wait until Most Feared comes out before you start buying cards, because it just wouldn't be smart to buy them before Most Feared, which kind of feels like it's going to be coming out Friday now. Is there a way that I don't match up with a stacked team on Seasons where I only have an 82 rated team? No. Seasons is more sweaty than Weekend League, in my opinion, to be honest. You're better off playing like your first 10 games of Weekend League every week, because you kind of get matched up sometimes against lesser opponents. Maybe you're one of those lesser opponents that people get matched up against, but there's no foolproof way in Seasons to avoid matchups, unfortunately. Is your 50 challenge for the second Patrick Willis glitched with you not letting you know how many user tackles you have? No, I have not run into that. I completed all of those solos on my No Money Spent account with no problem, so I'm just going to go ahead and say no there. Sorry if that's happening to you. Keep trying. Reset your game. I'm not sure if anybody else has ran into that. Let me know down below in the comment section. Love your streams and videos. As mostly No Money Spent player and absolutely must-have players you suggest. Louis, it really depends on position, again, that you're looking for. Obviously, any cards that you can get from solos, like the Geno Atkins, your free team standout, that's an 89. One card that kind of comes to mind for me is the Elvin Kamara, his team standout. Really, really good card. Plays very well for me, so if you need a running back that's good in the pass game, that can get the halfback master, or whatever it's called, backfield master maybe. I think that's what it's called. Stands out. We talked about L'Jarius Sneed. I would definitely recommend going back and watching my video on the best team standouts to pick, because a lot of those guys are really, really good cards right now for all you No Money Spent players, and they're starting to go down in price, luckily, because those Team of the Week cards that go into their sets are also starting to go down in price. Explain coach adjustment settings. There's a lot on there, so I can't really give you just like a generic answer here. There's, you can set your zone drops. Those are going to be how far your zones either fall back or play up. You can set those by yardages. Your man and base aligned. Does your defense kind of stay, in the same form as base aligned the whole time? Man, is they're going to align against each receiver that's out there. You can match up your cornerbacks by speed, by overall, I think by route running. Honestly, there's just a lot of them that you can toy with, but it's a pretty, open-ended question there to answer all of those. David, next episode, if there's a specific coach adjustment that you have a question about, be sure to ask it on there. And let's move on to the next question. Shoutouts to Adam and all my other YouTube members. You might notice that PS next to some of their names. That means they're YouTube members. Shoutouts to those guys. What formation is best at stopping the run without making 27 adjustments before you get quick snap and burned? To be honest, my go-to base defense has been nickel normal and just playing man coverage. Man coverage seems to play better against the run. Zone against the run, not so much unless you're pretty good at shooting gaps. So maybe try nickel normal, just 2-man under man defense. Also 3-4 bear is pretty good. It's been good for the last year or so. Those are kind of my go-to, and it depends on what type of run. If it's an outside run, 3-3-5 wide, or any type of wide spread defense helps, set the edge a little bit better, but then you got to worry about people switching to a dive and going up the middle. But nickel normal, man defense is kind of my base run defense for the most part. Do you have any ideas for future house rules? I don't, but one thing I will always and forever want to see in MUT is some type of, week-long event where your lineup is restricted based on whatever. They can make it anything. You can only have an all gold team, and all you do is go in and play against other players with all gold teams. You can only have a team with players from the NFC East and West, or just the NFC in general. Only players that are 85 overall and below. I would love to see some type of event where you have lineup restrictions, and everybody has to come in with those equal lineup restrictions. And, it's something that MLB The Show does with their events. I would love to see that in MUT. They could tag that as a house rules. I think that would kind of fall in that category. Defense abilities and chems. Is it worth it to do pass rush chem abilities with the new patch, or still focus on lockdown and secondary abilities? I will say for me right now, I'm testing out, I have on Ricky Jackson, I think I have under pressure, and then on Lawrence Taylor, I put edge threat. So I'll answer that question in a week after I gotten a little more, but I played against a couple people who had edge threat on their defensive ends and inside stuff on the defensive tackles, and it was pretty good. So I've kind of been moving towards more pass rushing abilities versus coverage abilities over the last week, and I'm kind of seeing how that's going to play out. I think it might be worth a try, though. It seems like it's probably going to work. What are the best abilities to put on a halfback, wide receiver, O-line, middle linebacker, strong safety user, and corner? So basically everybody. What's the best abilities for everybody? I have an acrobat on my corners and Myles Garrett, Lamar Jackson with their abilities. I would say for wide receivers, I really like route technician. Offensive line, your outside tackles, you might want to put edge threat protector. That helps with pass rush. Halfback, the only one I've ever used is backfield master. The juke box and spin chems, they don't seem to be as good. Corners, definitely acrobat. Strong safety, I would still put acrobat on there as well. What do you think about letting people change the number on the jersey according to the team they play? For example, Slay was 23 and 24 on the Eagles, so maybe like a card where we could get to change that. I don't think we'll ever see something like that. I think it would be cool. For example, Randall Cunningham right now, I got him wearing 7, but he's always going to be number 12 in my book. I think that would be cool. Maybe it could be another section on the power-up where the font art is, that we would be able to change the number to numbers that they've used. Maybe one day. I'm sure that they've heard that feedback. I've had that suggested a lot, but I don't think it's something that we'll see anytime soon. Is it smart to sell a lot of my players on Wednesday or Thursday before the market drop? No. Answered that one earlier. Most feared player predictions. Should I invest in power-ups? By the way, use code POP. I absolutely agree. Make sure you use code POP. Hashtag EA Partner. Most feared player predictions. Probably going to do a separate video on that. And investing in power-ups could be the move. I think so many people do it now. That method has become a little watered down, but, it's still not a bad idea for the big names like Tyreek Hill, Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes, and so forth. My guy, Skull Crusher, thanks for all you do. No problem, Skull Crusher. What has been your favorite card to use so far in Madden 21? I gotta say, it's still Denzel Ward is one of them. DRC has been really good for the cornerbacks. Reggie Bush on offense, really, really good. Reggie Wayne on offense, really, really good. Jermichael Finley on offense. Those have probably been my favorites so far. Keep up the great work, and we need more vids with Miss Pop watching American Horror Story. Don't worry, those are coming. More intros and bloopers and funny moments coming soon. Most fear predictions, again, we'll be dropping that shortly, very soon. Best way to stop the pass with the abilities, Acrobat is really good. That's what I recommend. Most feared, hopefully coming soon. What do you think about coin buying sites? I don't promote them. I don't agree with them. I don't knock anybody that does promote them. Do what you got to do. But my biggest concern will always be, and I'll never promote those, is this is just an example. Say I promoted a coin site, right? Then you take that, you go to that coin site to buy coins. Number one, it's against terms of service, so you might get banned, and then you're going to blame me for getting banned because I'm promoting something that breaks terms of service. Again, I will never do this. And then number two, say that coin site kind of screws you over. You get scanned, for lack of better word. Now you're coming back to me as well. I led you to that direction just for you to get scammed by this coin site. Now, some of them might be legit. I don't know. I've never used them, but I'm just not in favor of them. I don't knock anybody that uses them, but you are breaking the rules. What physical chem are you using? I use Shaker on my team. Is 4-4 a good run defense on Madden? I haven't really used it as well or as much, so I don't know the answer to that one. How many top 10 players you predict coming in most feared? One for every position. I hear people selling off their teams. No, please don't do that again. Top end positions, probably not top end players for every position. Highly unlikely. We'll probably get master cards that are maybe 94 overalls, 93, somewhere around there, and probably some other low 90s, but not at every position. I doubt it. How do you get human joystick in the yard in face of the franchise? I honestly don't know. I'm so sorry. I haven't really played either of those game modes much since launch. Who is the coolest Rams fan you know? Of course it's you, Cody. Will we get any Rams coming up? At the time that you asked this, we probably got Deacon Jones right after. So there you go. And why does EA love 49ers more than their spouses? Cody, you're too funny. A lot of people made a big deal about the 49ers getting those cards. Listen, 49ers, Ravens, Steelers, they've had good theme teams for years and years and years. They just had good players throughout their history. That's all it is. But we're going to end the video there. Again, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I mentioned in yesterday's video, feeling a little under the weather, mostly just my voice. You probably heard it crack or sound strange in the intro. So I'm going to go rest the vocal pipes because we got Team of the Week coming later today. And of course, we're going to put out a video on that content. So stay tuned for that. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.